these gays. They're trying to murder me.
What do I think of her?
Yes.
I don't think of her.
Goodbye. I'm off. Read about that in the New York fucking Post.
Okay, so we've got kind of breaking news, you guys. We are doing things a little differently today. I started a new job. And you guys will figure out what that job is eventually.
Oh, you can't say it yet?
It's not that I can't say it yet, but I always prefer to wait until things are up because I always feel like it's not real until like something gets posted.
Real.
So anyways, I'm very excited about it, and it's a really, really, really great opportunity. But we were going to record at 5 today, my time. And I was like, I just need some time to work, et cetera, et cetera. And then Matt sent a video to the group chat of a dog named Pepper, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
We will know the fate of Pepper. Over. Yeah, we will know the fate of Pepper come Monday when we record our bonus episode. But everyone, please, fingers crossed, we will post an update on Patreon and on Twitter if Pepper is acquired. But baby, we're recording a little early today, so Matt can hopefully adopt a dog.
I know. Unless someone literally goes to adopt this dog in these 2 hours of recording, then it's mine.
Well, it's actually a good way to keep us on track because it's like that mission in Baldur's Gate 3 where you are counting down until a bunch of people die and explode. Like you have like 6 turns to save everybody. It's like,
yeah, that's kind of what it's giving right now. Honestly,
have 2 hours to get through this episode in a timely fashion.
This is the last gauntlet.
This dog explodes.
Before the dog shelter gets blown up. Oh my God,
well,
no.
Please, they don't have a bathroom and you didn't get McDonald's this morning, so I don't think they're in any danger of blowing up anytime soon.
Stop. Oh my God, stop. Okay, the girls that know, but I have been going through trials and tribulation, gauntlets upon gauntlets with a fucking nonprofit rescue org. Yeah. They're all scams. I'm like anti-rescue animal at this point. Not really, but it feels that way. Maybe just the Bay Area ones. Yeah. I have been going through trials and tribulations. Y'all, they make it so hard to adopt a dog. You basically have to like do a credit check at this point and like submit pay stubs. Like, actually, at this point, that would be easier than what they've asked me to do. Yeah. And they've strung me along for weeks, denied me an animal because of no particular reason, just because the other 6 people who applied, one of them, I was the final 2, just had a better lifestyle. Didn't say why. Just a better lifestyle that fit the dog. They're like, no faggotry allowed.
Yeah, I've never been through, I've been through that process in LA when I was thinking about adopting a pit bull, because obviously I was one of those people in the pandemic that was like, I'm going to get a pit bull. And if I had gotten a pit bull, I would have loved it. But it was truly like trials, tribulations, hoops, and
Chutes
like
and
obstacle
ladders.
Courses and
Trap
Olympic
doors.
trials. Yeah. It was literally like the literal national treasure hunt to like just find out how to adopt in the first place.
It's crazy. And the amount of rescue orgs, I'm just speaking of Bay Area things. I'm sure there's lovely ones all over the place, but the amount of rescue orgs I see who their website is a Facebook page. It's like, what is this? This is not professional behavior. One place, their website on their Instagram was an Amazon wish list. I was like, what are we talking about? Am I applying for the dog through DMs? Like, you guys are not serious people. You are not serious people. When I went to the shelter today, they're like, yep, here's the dog. First come, first serve. You want it, you can have it. The adoption is like very cheap compared to all these other places. Exactly. Actually, this dog is free to adopt because the previous owners couldn't move with them and they already paid the fee. So I'm just going to turn that fee into a donation. Yeah. Because I was like, that is stellar. Like, that is amazing. So I'm not falling for these rescue orgs that make you, okay, no, listen, I don't want to keep ranting, but this one place I looked at today.
For free, the podcast recording live from the absolute edge of mad sanity.
The absolute edge of this rescue shelter.
Hi, I'm anti-dog rescue activist Joan Summers and ponytail expert.
And I'm pro-shelter, pro-local, local artisan again, like honestly, Matthew Lawson. No,
local dog
owner about to be. This one place asked for social media profiles required. Like, if you have any, please post them. And I was like, well, I don't want to post them because you don't want to see what's on there. But if I don't post it, are you going to check and then see I lied? And then they even say, we want you to post about your dog regularly afterwards as like a wellness check thing or like a thing we could show to other people. I was like, respectfully, like end it. Like respectfully shut it down.
Speaking of posting about something frequently, today we are going to be getting into 2020 through 2021 in Ariana Grande's life, which was a period dotted by many like blurry Polaroid photos of her then boyfriend, future fiance. Yeah, Dalton Gomez.
The one that like grays out the blacks and like you can barely, there's like no contrast.
You could tell, you could say in a way he was like the puppy she adopted from a shelter and had to regularly post to perform wellness checks. She got him from a celebrity-backed shelter, to be clear, and that's an angle we're going to get into today because it conflicts with the narrative he's presented in the divorce. But yeah, we're going to be getting into the quarantine and chill era Ariana Grande, a period defined by lawsuits and a makeup company. Yeah. It's interesting, for the first time ever on this series, we are really not going to be talking about the music, and we're not really going to be talking about touring. This is a more insular episode and period in Ariana Grande's life during our, now eventually soon to be 10-part series. We forgive you.
People
Ariana
were
Grande.
DMing us. They're like, just make a side podcast. I was like, no, because we're almost there. And if we did that, we would truly never cover.
Well, they're DMing us that because they like it so much.
No, they do.
Just
absolutely.
Want this to be the podcast now. But
trust me, we'll keep following Ariana. Yeah. It's not like we're going to be done when we're done.
Miley Cyrus's Wrecking Ball is coming this November,
talk about
December.
Demolition, honey.
Let's talk about that. So anyways, I'm very excited about this episode in particular because in my research, I started to uncover certain things that I feel have been completely left out of the divorce narrative concerning Ariana Grande. So I just want to preface this by saying that this is going to be 2020 to 2021, like I said. Next week, we're going to be doing 2022 to 2023, currently catching up with the divorce and the alleged affair. And then we also have a documentary episode premiering next week on Monday, where we're going to be watching Ariana Grande's tour documentary that was also based in, in and around quarantine and her album Positions, excuse me. So there's a lot more coming in the next few weeks. Well, this week and the next one, but for just everyone to keep this in your minds throughout the episode. Matthew, if you remember, and if the original Patreon subscribers remember, who heard first our episode that we did on Patreon way back as kind of a pre-episode to this series concerning just like the timeline of the alleged affair, one of the narratives that come up frequently was that, Dalton is just this regular, simple guy. He's not a celebrity. He's not used to the celebrity machinations. And once quarantine lifted and she was a famous person again, it suddenly was like, oh my gosh, poor Dalton. Oh no, he's just a fish out of water, right? Like,
yep, classic Ariana's taking advantage. She's on the prowl. Like,
she's like just
she gets distracted easily.
Down home country luxury real estate agent that got, scammed by a mega pop star, and all he wanted to do was have a simple life without her out and about. And then she had to go and film a movie and be a pop star and like make money to pay for their home. And it's like, I just want you to like keep that narrative that has been presented
it's a fascinating
in your mind, because there are some things that I uncovered in this episode. I'm not calling it breaking news, but I do think we are the first podcast to double down on this information. And I think we might have some gossip outlets with this too. So I'm very excited about this.
I mean, I could see during like the cloud of COVID in 2020 and 2021, like so much could have easily been missed. Yeah. Like I wasn't really checked in either during this time period. So I'm very excited to see what we kind of missed.
So we're going to start off 2020 with a
rough already
lawsuit from CNN, a lawsuit report in CNN. This breaks January 17th, 2020. So we're hopping a few months back from where we ended last week's episode. And so we're going to start right in the beginning of 2020, January. CNN reports that Ariana Grande is sued by a rapper named Dot. Now, Matt, can you look up Dot for me?
Sure. I don't think I've ever heard of him.
So, CNN reports at the beginning of January, alongside a bunch of other music groups, that Ariana Grande is sued by a man named Josh Stone, who goes by DOT or Dot, on like his professional rap career. Now, I guess this isn't like a value judgment on Dot himself. Like, truly, this person like really flies under the radar. Because I mean, this is really the one thing that they have.
Well, I'm looking at this music video that is sourced in this, and every single comment is about Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah. Now, again, not a value judgment on Dot, but from what I can tell, Josh Stone is a white rapper who wrote this song, You Need It, I Got It, which he claims in the beginning of January 2020 that was like plagiarized by a man named Tommy Brown, who's one of Ariana Grande's longtime music producers. He says that Tommy Brown heard this song in 2017, I Want It, I Got It, which does have a slightly similar hook to Ariana Grande's song.
I can see that.
And it definitely, you can tell that there's like a lot there that's similar, right? And I don't want to completely like sweep away his claims that these lyrics or melody are mostly similar. He says that Tommy heard the song and was like, we should work on something together. I really like this song, when Tommy was at Universal Music Group or was in a meeting at Universal Music Group in 2017. Later, he says that Stone ghosted him and then showed the song to Ariana Grande and her co-writers, who all worked on Thank You Next, the album, including people like Taylor Parks and Victoria Monet, who we talked about last episode. And that together, they all wrote the song Seven Rings, which borrows from Tommy's song. He says, quote, the individuals, the defendants in this, individually and collectively have generated substantial revenue from the exploitation of the infringing works and have actively participated in a scheme aiding, inducing, and contributing to copyright infringement. His attorney at the time, Tamir Young, says, quote, this lawsuit is about protecting artists and their work. Josh's song was taken and used without his consent, without his knowledge, and without a license. Many people made a lot of money on Josh's work, and that is wrong. It is copyright infringement. Now, just because I think we should, for journalism, I'm gonna play with you the verse and then chorus of this song. To the people who are its copyright holders, we are not plagiarizing your work by playing it on our podcast.
No, we are not.
We're simply showing my co-host the lyrical depth that Dot brings to his music.
I got it. You want it? I got it. You need it? I got it. It's all for the profit. You need it? I got it. You want it? I got it. You need it? I got it. It's all for the profit. You it, what pop it? You want it? I got it. You need it? I got it. Your girl, she tops it. The candy, the haze, the chocolate. You need it? I got it. You want it? I got it. You need it?
The only time I see your wife is when she's sucking dick. Interesting.
I mean, like, it definitely, that like needed I got it hook is absolutely the same. But like, is that really enough?
Well,
like, is that enough? Well, I guess
we'll see.
We'll see, right? So
let's shelve that for now, because we also have to talk about the Grammys. So the Thank You Next obviously received 4 nominations for the Grammys and did not win any of them. But
Yeah.
No, it was album of the year and then best pop vocal album. It was nominated for both, didn't win either. It was also nominated at the Billboard Music Awards, the Juno Awards, and the People's Choice Awards, as well as the American Music Awards. All nominated, not won. That happens sometime between then and our next story, which happens in March. At the end of March, people announced that Ariana Grande is dating luxury real estate agent Dalton Gomez. Says source, quote, she seems very happy. So People reports that Ariana has been dating this man who is a real estate agent at the Aaron Kirkman Group, which is a high-profile luxury real estate agency in New York.
Yeah,
in New York and in LA, various places. They have a huge celebrity roster, from what I've been told by people in the know. This was something I dealt with when I was, back in my on the ground celebrity reporting days. I just heard from around the way who this man was. He and Ariana, at the time of this report, so at the end of March in 2020, they have been dating for a few months. And the, quote, Southern California native works as a buyer's agent. He is believed to be the man that Grande, who at the time was 26, had been seen kissing, papped by TMZ in Northridge, which is like, oh my God, what are they doing in Northridge? That's where if you're getting papped in Northridge, you were in Northridge because you didn't want to get papped, because there is... honest to God, no fucking reason to ever be in Northridge. The people who are in Northridge, on a day-to-day basis, are we would rather not be in Northridge. There's no way that Ariana
it's a very regular place.
Northridge, unless she's got some man she doesn't want the paparazzi to know about just yet, which at the time they did catch her, but he was a complete mystery, right? It was help us identify this man that Ariana Grande is with. I remember seeing those photos on Backgrid too and being honestly, Queen, risking COVID for somebody who looks like that.
By the way, these homes they're selling are really the
Matt, that's what I'm saying. They are
$150 million.
Yeah, they're
mansions.
top tier, right? So he is not
regular
newbie to being around rich and famous people.
Exactly. And that's these are the people who are the teams around the rich.
We're gonna get to that. So a second insider told people at the time that they had been quarantining together in LA. Quote, Ariana is staying at home with friends. She's very serious about self-distancing and has been with the same group of people for days. One of the people she is with right now is Dalton. They have been hanging out for a couple of months. Ariana doesn't want to do another public relationship, so she is trying to keep this one quiet, but she seems very happy with Dalton. Now, TMZ at the same time has this headline: Ariana Grande quarantine and chill with her new BFF. He's a real estate big shot. So TMZ says, word for word, he definitely rolls in the same circles as his new GF. Dalton recently posted a pic hanging with Miley Cyrus and some friends. Another sign of how much Ariana digs him, not only is she following him on social, but several of her friends are too. Now, if you look at this photo in the TMZ article...
Yeah.
Oh, Miley, we have so much to talk about concerning Miley Cyrus. So this is a photo from what I was told 2017, when they say, recently posted a pic. This photo from
3 years from this, 6 years from now.
Yeah, I would say it was I believe this was in 2017 from what I could tell. It's a photo with Dalton hanging in the background, literally looking like an extra on iCarly.
That's exactly what it's giving. Yeah,
such Nickelodeon extra face going on. And
it's such a specific thing. I'm trying to think how to describe it otherwise.
No, but where it's tall white twink who's brunette. Also,
it's kind of Old Navy ad, the main on an Old Navy ad, maybe.
You know how
but the background's on Nickelodeon.
You know how Nickelodeon extra, love interest extras are now Netflix rom-com leads, that's the pipeline.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so
Kissing Booth 3 co-star.
He looks like the ex of one of the guys in Red, White, and Royal Blue, like that kind of face going on. So this photo with Miley Cyrus, she's flexing, and the caption for it is "hoodlums," which is just.
This is back in 2017, so it's making a bit more sense. Not it's right, but just more in Miley's timeline era.
We have so much to say about Miley Cyrus. Tune in for Miley Cyrus's Wrecking Ball premiering later this fall. So, another thing is, I have uncovered, and I'm telling you, Matt, there have been no articles about this. Not a single one. The only people who have been talking about this on the internet are Arianators and the Miley Cyrus girlies. Wait, what is Miley Cyrus's fan base called again?
Oh my God, like the Sirens or something?
No fan base. Smilers. I forgot. Smilers.
Oof. I don't think I've ever heard someone say that legitimately.
Wait, you've never heard of the Smilers?
I mean, I have, but
I've seen it just because obviously
I've just never heard anyone say it out loud.
Follow a bunch of Stan accounts for my work. But yes, okay. So if you click on this photo, this
Miley and
this literal like 200 follower Twitter account, Arianator Twitter account, is this photo of Dalton and Miley from 2014 with, oh my God, what's that fucking filter called on Instagram? You guys can see this in our links, by the way. You can go down and see this yourself. But you know that like Instagram filter that turns any shadow like bright red and then your skin turns yellow? Like, you know exactly which one I'm talking about. She's in a like tie-dye shirt, and you can tell this is bangers because of the bleach bob, like bleach, like pixie cut, her fuck ass bob era.
It really was an era. And like the tie-dye LSD shirt.
Wait,
like
I just realized.
Also, what do you call that facial?
Fuck ass pixie. It would spell out fat. I just realized that. I probably should say
it is a fuck ass pixie. Oh my God. And what is this expression they're doing? It's like the Tumblr stare, like the open mouth, wide eyes.
It's like he's doing the like
kind of like sex doll adjacent. Like
she looks like, you know, that movie that just came out, Smile. Like she looks like the cover of Smile, and he looks like he's doing that like face guys used to do when you took selfies with them in high school, where it'd be like that. I'm gonna make a noise, and all the girls who used to take selfies with guys on their fucking camera phones are gonna know this noise, where the guys would be like, oh yeah, like you know that face. You can tell
shivers
the
down my
face
spine
associated with that noise. Okay, 2014, and according to the Stan accounts, there are a few photos that I could not source that were like long range camera telescopes from orbit photos of like at least 15 different pap photos of Dalton and Miley from like 2013 to 2015.
Okay, so they've known each other for a good amount of time.
People allegedly say that at some point during the Bangers era, they dated. Allegedly. This is not a confirmed relationship.
They probably smoked weed once.
Yeah. But what I find interesting about this, and I won't harp on it too long because this will be circled back, but if you remember what I said in the beginning about the narrative concerning Ariana's divorce and how easy it was for places like TMZ and Page Six to latch onto that narrative that like Dalton's just like a simple guy who couldn't cut it hanging out with pop stars, which is a world he's never experienced before. It's just
not true. Like,
it's just not true.
Also, like, I hate to say, but the people who work in those celebrity spaces, like real estate or like production, are actually more familiar than like the stars themselves are.
Yes. Yeah. They're the people that are driving
like it's their jobs. Exactly.
Yeah. So, okay. Matt, virtually hold my hand because you see this next
note. I see the name that we shall not speak.
So this, and by the way, this was attended by everybody. So I'm not singling anyone out, but at the end of March on the 31st, well, this gets reported on the 31st, but it happened on the 28th, the same day this story comes out, really. Ariana appears in a dark room alongside her victorious cast members and none other than Dan Schneider. Matt, can you read Dan Schneider's Instagram caption
here? Yeah. What a day. We were all supposed to get together tonight for the 10th anniversary of our premiere. But obviously we couldn't. #safer at home. So this virtual Zoom celebration was almost as fun. 2 hours of laughing, reminiscing, and feeling happy and grateful for how you fans have embraced our little show about pursuing big dreams. Much love from all of us and more to come. Smiley face emoji, love emoji, dancing emoji, winky face emoji.
So what's interesting is like, I was like, okay, all I have to,
I can't believe Dan Schneider has an Instagram account, by the way. Like, I did not. realize that.
So Dan
and shockingly, the comments. Oh no, the comments are turned off. Never mind.
Matt, by the way,
I was going to say.
we just look at Dan Schneider's Instagram account for a second?
It's terrifying me. Like, how can you even try to post anything?
Okay, Matt.
The way that there's only one comment max on any post is crazy to me.
Matt. Okay, so the crazy thing about this is I'm not recommending anybody go look at Dan Schneider's Instagram account considering, but if you do look, most of it is like throwback photos of the cast from the time, and it will be like, I heart Beck from Victorious, and it's like a clip from Teen Nick, like magazine or whatever, from 2012, or like red carpet photos of like the Victorious cast, or like a screenshot of Frankie Grande's
I was just
Instagram
looking at that
account.
one. Is that Willem in the background, by the way?
That is Willem in the background with the nose ring. Or like there's one where
I would think this is not even a real account. Like, it feels like a stan account or something.
There's just like random, like, we heart Ariana Grande's Sweetener, and it's like
there's even a Happy National Spaghetti Day, which is your favorite. Like I'm so uncomfortable. Is this like a math joke? Like,
no,
easiest
Matt.
1, 2, 3. Can you find the mistake? Oh, girl,
Matt, it's so okay. I have to stop looking at.
Yeah,
this.
we have to get out of here. I'm
me.
uncomfortable.
So, Ariana Grande then in April has a very eventful April. She bids and then wins
deep in the COVID quarantine
Midsommar dress at the A24 charity auction. Now look at this Vogue link, by the way.
Who would? Okay, yes,
Matt,
this up.
Matt, please look at this. Oh wait, did she remove it? Fuck.
Oh, it has been
just
look up because the preview of I can see the photo in the
just
preview
look at
link.
Ariana Grande Midsommar, you'll see it. She had like a whole Midsommar party.
That is a little.
And there's this photo.
Disturbing.
Matt, can this be?
I see it. I see it now.
Can this be our episode cover, by the way?
Please, yes.
Wait, no. Look at it. This is my favorite one. Can this be our episode cover? Frankie in the floral crown is killing.
Yes. Oh my god.
And it was her birthday too, which is so funny. Like, she's like, I want to have a Midsommar birthday, and I want everyone to be Midsommar themed.
I don't understand. It's so weird.
Listen. She's so
quirky.
Does
for that.
It really surprise us that she overly identifies with what's her name from Midsommar? Like
Florence Pugh.
Speaking of, they have a back and forth exchange in the Instagram comments of her post. Ariana posts a photo of like the article or whatever saying that it's going to go up for auction, and she replies, quote, "The amount of people that have texted me about this," in all caps, and then tags Florence. Florence then says, no. So she then responds again, "I'm crying. Also, I'm bidding on this as soon as possible." And then Florence responds, "Do it. Halloween will never be the same." And then in all caps, Grande responds again, "I was already planning to have it made anyway. Bye." And then she gets it. So May 1st, Justin and Ariana collaborate on their song Stuck With You to benefit the First Responders Children's Foundation. Then in May 13th, she appears on the Zane Lowe Show on Apple Music to talk about Mac Miller and other things, of course. It was, I think, in promotion of the new single that had just been announced or had recently come out, Rain on Me, with Lady Gaga, of course. Mm-hmm. She says of Mac on the Zane Lowe Show, quote, "I think that nothing mattered more to him than music ever. And he was the kind of person who woke up and rolled into the studio, tumbled out of bed into the studio the next door. He was a person who gave literally every second of his thought and time and life to his music. And I think that's so evident in what he's left us with, and just how many incredible and different bodies of work. Everything from Blue Side Park, Kids, all the way through Divine Feminine to Swimming to Circles to everything in between. It's just such a beautiful gift, I think, that he kind of touched the world with. And I think the thing he'd want most is for us to just appreciate it and not forget about it." And this is one of the first times she's like really directly addressed Mac like extensively in an interview, like not really centered around him or her post since his death in 2018. So I just think that I wanted to include that just to kind of see where she was speaking about him in 2020. So then I'm going to make you read this post from Lana Del Rey.
Oh, I was hoping you made me read this.
Ariana gets brought into the conversation. And I want you to read this again, because I think that this is a really interesting cultural moment in the summer of 2020 for many reasons. You
really
guys
in
can
the
imagine
heat of it all.
You guys can really imagine why. Obviously, we've talked extensively on this podcast about that summer in particular, but especially in music, I think for Ariana specifically, if we're just focusing on Ariana, this was like a real turning point again in her narrative over the last few years that she had been experiencing, especially post Mac's death and then during the Thank You Next era. She had seen her image and her likeness really become a meme for people, and also a real point of contention. And I don't want to call it a culture war because that diminishes obviously the very, very valid criticisms that we brought up last week, but more so the ongoing firestorm about, people's comfort level with artists like Ariana Grande, the music that she produces, and really the culture vulturing approach that she had taken to it with Thank You Next. And I think a lot of that had also been muddled with the sexism that she had encountered too. Like, multiple things can be true that Ariana Grande did plenty wrong during the Thank You Next era in 2019, like we discussed. But also that, as it is with any woman, and not just Ariana Grande by any means, the sexism that had been, defining her career up until that point kind of starts to bubble up during this era, and people are really reevaluating what they think of her. And I think it's just a really weird time for her where, who she is has never been more ephemeral since when she first started her career. And you can see this dramatic image change in 2020, right? Where she really strips back and starts posting really low key photos, the hyper femininity and artifice of the Thank You Next era is what I would probably describe that as, the extreme tan and the outfits and the music videos, all of that. I think she really strips it all back, and it goes to show, almost how it was a costume for her, like we said.
Exactly.
So this Lana point, the Lana enters the conversation. What I mean to say is it's just a very interesting time for Ariana Grande. And I have some thoughts about this, but I'll let you read it first.
Yeah. Oh, this Lana post, she got rightfully dragged heavily for this, but let's remind everybody what happened because it's honestly kind of insane. So again, this is May 21st, 2020. So people are rioting, people are protesting. It is we are in month 2.5 of COVID. Okay. So she posts this, I think it was iOS press release style, right? Large text on just Instagram post. Question for the culture. Now that Doja Cat, Ariana, Camila, Cardi B, Kalani, Nicki Minaj, and Beyonce have had number ones with songs about being sexy, wearing no clothes, fucking, cheating, etc., can I please go back to singing about being embodied, feeling beautiful by being in love, even if the relationship is not perfect, or dancing for money, or whatever I want, without being crucified for saying that I'm glamorizing abuse? I'm fed up with female writers and alt singers saying that I glamorize abuse, when in reality, I'm just a glamorous person singing about the realities of what we are all now seeing are very prevalent emotionally abusive relationships all over the world. With all of the topics women are finally allowed to explore, I just want to say over the last 10 years, I think it's pathetic that my minor lyrical exploration detailing my sometimes submissive or passive roles in my relationships has often made people say I've set women back hundreds of years. Let this be clear, I'm not a feminist, but there has to be a place in feminism for women who look and act like me. The kind of woman who says no, but men hear yes. The kind of women who are slated mercilessly for being their authentic, delicate selves. The kind of women who get their own stories and voices taken away from them by stronger women or by men who hate women. I've been honest and optimistic about the challenging relationships I've had. Newsflash, that's just about how it is for many women. And that was sadly my experience up until the point that those records were made. So I just want to say it's been a long 10 years of bullshit reviews up until recently, and I've learned a lot from them, but I also feel it really paved the way for other women to stop putting on a happy face and to just be able to say whatever the hell they wanted to their music. Unlike my experience where if I even expressed a note of sadness in my first 2 records, I was deemed literally hysterical as though it was literally the 1920s. Anyways, none of this has anything to do about much, but anyways, none of this has to do, it like Lily repeats this line here, but I'll be detailing some of my feelings in my next 2 books of poetry, mostly the second one with Simon & Schuster. Yes, I'm still making personal reparations with the proceeds of the book to my choice of Native American foundations, which I'm very happy about. And I'm sure there will be tinges of what I've been pondering in my new album that comes out September 5th.
Which was, I believe, was that Blue Banisters or was that?
No, that was Chemtrails.
Okay.
Chemtrails of the Country Club.
Okay.
I will say, as like Alana scholar, there's a lot of things she says here that are very real and make a lot of sense. But like everyone was saying at the time, the like Doja, Ariana, Camila, Cardi B, like throwing them under the bus and how completely ignorant it was of their experiences doing similar things was just wild. Like, wild. Like, terrible PR move here. Like, why would you say this?
Yeah. And I think it's interesting too. And what I really wanted to focus on here is like, listen, in no way am I ever going to compare Ariana Grande with the lived experiences of the Black women that she is listed next to here, especially Black women like Nicki Minaj or Beyonce or Cardi B or Doja Cat or Kalani or any of them, right? But it's interesting to me that a few things are happening here that I think people rightfully point out at the time. Lana first acts like she is one of the first women to sing about sadness and complications and femininity.
Or to be crucified for it.
When, you know, if we are talking about singer-songwriters, right, of which Mariah Carey is one, as if Mariah Carey's discography is not littered with littered sounds negative, stuffed with lyrical explorations of sadness and submissiveness and love and heartbreak and all of these things, right? As if any of these women, including Beyonce, have ever just at one point or another opened up about being heartsick or being in love with the wrong guy or et cetera, right? And she talks about it here like, I am sick of being compared to strong women when I am just my authentic, delicate self, and I think I should be valued for that. At one point here, she is projecting strength on Black women, one, right? Yeah. She is seeing Black women have careers and explore themselves through music like anybody does, including a mega pop star or Lana Del Rey, and is projecting strength on them like, you're strong and I'm just a delicate white woman. But at the same time, again, I think the word delicate is interesting because it assumes through that projected strength that people like, say, Nicki Minaj or Beyonce cannot be tender in their music, you know? And Ariana's place here is interesting. And I think what people fixate on with this justifiably and correctly is that what Lana is really also pointing at is R&B music more broadly, and basically any style of music that isn't like acoustic and quote unquote white coded, right?
Yeah, it's talking about like just pop also as well. Like,
yeah. And I think it's also interesting to say that like, I am not a feminist, but there has to be place in feminism for women like me. When like, if you look at, and we're talking about Ariana
I guess,
Grande,
you know, to be fair, she says I'm not a feminist. So it's like a weird,
Yeah. No, what I'm saying is, of course. What she says is when she's like, I'm not a feminist, but also like, there has to be a place in feminism for women like me. What she's also doing here is, and I want to focus on Ariana because we've also talked about these other names on the list, and there have been many other people that have talked about it more extensively. This is a series about Ariana Grande. And what's interesting to me about Ariana's inclusion in this also is, you know, the narrative at that point of Ariana, again, as a sexy baby, really, if we want to like just be blunt with our description of it.
That's what everyone would say about her.
Once again, you know, this is a girl who can survive like multiple heartbreaks, can literally put together in a matter of weeks a charity benefit for a concert she was at that was the site of a terrorist attack that killed dozens of people. Like, she can survive that. She can survive PTSD and the love of her life dying, all very publicly, while enduring ruthless criticism from people. And despite all of that, right, in her music, explore ideas of submission and femininity and tragedy and love and heartbreak and like this multi-dimensional exploration of, like we said last week, this figure she has constructed, right? Like she's like this. The Ariana Grande character is like an avatar through which I find out more about myself and I play with on each album, right? Like there is this image you expect of me and I use that image to flip it, reverse it, change it, you know, counter it, et cetera, et cetera. And despite all of these things that Ariana Grande has done through her music, you know, at this point still, she is reduced to sexy baby by critics, even amongst other women in her lane, right? Like, I just find that so interesting because it feels like constantly with Ariana Grande, her career is torn between fans that will legitimately eat up anything that she does because they love her, and people who, no matter what she does, are willing to assume the absolute worst in her, specifically critics of her that are not basing their criticisms on things like we talked about last episode, right? Like, I'm not blanketly like dismissing everything, obviously, because we have detailed those grievances we have with Ariana Grande quite extensively now over the last 6 episodes. But yeah, I just think that that's really interesting here. And it just kind of is, again, this like point I'm making about this real like ephemerality to her image in 2020 going into 2021. Like, it's still almost impossible to really pin down what Ariana Grande represents to people besides this Ariana Grande that has existed since 2013, no matter how old she gets, no matter how much she changes, no matter how much she experiences. So I can imagine, you know, then going into the pandemic, she's like, I don't want to deal with any of this. I'm going to get married and hunker down and just turn off life, right? Like, just be myself and be completely out of the public eye this time. I'm not going to parade my boyfriend in front of the paps. And as a person who speed ran a divorce through the pandemic, I relate. So Ariana Grande then in May, later that month, talks about Lady Gaga, saying that she immediately felt like a sister to me over their collaboration. On Twitter, she tweets, quote, one time, I loved this tweet. I think I sent it to you and was like, us, but it was like, one time I met a woman who knew pain the same way I did, who cried as much as I did, drank as much wine as I did, ate as much pasta as I did, and her heart was bigger than her whole body.
The Italiano
She
connection.
Immediately felt like a sister to me. It's literally the Italiana connection. Like these are the Madonnas, right?
Pasta, like, we drink red wine.
They're literally
we
the
have dinners with family.
So she then held my hand and invited me into the beautiful world of Chromatica, and together we got to express how beautiful and healing it feels to motherfucking cry. I hope this makes you all feel uplifted as it does for both of us. Love you, Lady Gaga, you stunning superwoman. Gaga then responds, one time I felt like I was crying so much it would never stop. Instead of fighting it, I thought, bring it on. I can do hard things. Ariana Grande, I love you for your strength and friendship. Let's show them what we've got. That photo of them hugging in that music video, by the way, that t-shirt is my most prized possession. Yeah. Like, that t-shirt is my most prized possession.
I can only imagine how many celebrities of this caliber have met and like in private moments have probably been like, can we just cry about something that only literally you and 3 other people in this world understand?
And also, Lady Gaga, this is where I'm saying, like, for all of the, and I mean, we should do a Lady Gaga series too now that I'm thinking about it. But no, I will say one thing that I think is interesting about Lady Gaga is she is someone who thinks very hard about pop music, probably harder than a lot of people have ever thought about it. And that has been to her detriment.
And talking about being a character and like having like a seasonal like aesthetic change.
And this is one of the things where I feel like including Ariana Grande in Rain on Me, right? The woman who loves the teardrop emoji more than life itself, I think is like so brilliantly on the nose and subversive in the way that it like approaches both of their public images, and shows that despite the critics, like, there are people like Ariana Grande who like there are people like Lady Gaga who get what Ariana Grande is doing enough to like think of the like metatextual implications of including her in Rain on Me.
Come on, metatextual.
About surviving and crying so much you think it'll wash you away.
Reach
Rain
into
on
the
me.
sky.
Rain. on May. Okay, so then that same time, while she's promoting the song, they're making these like Weather Channel updates for Rain on Me. I don't know if you remember those. We're like
barely. Oh my god, I'm looking at the pictures now.
On each other, etc.
Like from the Weather Channel.
Dalton is like seen on a like ladder helping Ariana Grande up with like her like at home promotional setup.
He's holding the like bathtub like spray shower.
So then on June 1st, Ariana Grande then urges people to, quote, cover the peaceful protesting after joining Black Lives Matter demonstrations in LA. Now, this headline is not taken out of context, but her full quote is like, I think predictably on the nose for what celebrities of her caliber were saying at the time. For those of you who don't remember or weren't paying attention, you know, there was this like conflict going on in LA about the media coverage of the protests and what to call them, right? Protests.
Oh God, yeah.
At Jezebel, we called them uprisings because we felt like it was more appropriate to the like political inclinations of the people on the street.
Exactly.
And I stick by that framing for myself. I would still to this day describe them as uprisings.
Yeah,
but she, I think, was responding to the cavalcade of media that had infiltrated LA to frame it as this like dangerous, war-torn, burning to the ground battleground.
Even I just earlier referred to it as like
post-apocalyptic scenario. Yeah.
Even I just referred to it as like a riot, and I hate that term because it's used so much in that way, and it's like that's not what it is. Or if it is that, it's incited by the police 99.9% of the time.
And it is like a kind of reactionary sentiment that you see amongst like people who would style themselves as progressive celebrities like Ariana Grande, who the previous year had endorsed officially Bernie Sanders alongside people like Cardi B. And so anyways, she says in her full quote, and I think it makes more sense, but I also disagree with it. And again, this framing was reactionary because it was like the inclusion of like violent imagery detracts from the message is not one that I agree with. So that's where I say, like, you take the good with the bad with this. And a lot of this statement is bad. So the superstar, and this is from Billboard, reflected on her experiences at the protest in a number of tweets on Sunday, writing, quote, hours and miles of peaceful protesting yesterday that got little to no coverage. All throughout Beverly Hills and West Hollywood, we chanted, people beeped and cheered along. We were passionate, we were loud, we were loving. Cover this too, please. Later that day, and about an hour later, she says, stay safe, energized, keep sharing, keep learning, sending strength. And if you're protesting today, please be safe. A lot of things feel very scary and dangerous and uncertain right now, but there are things within our control. And this is where the bad comes in also. Voting, contacting lawmakers, and taking back the census. The most important thing you can do right now is to take the power back and become a voter and know when your next election is. And it's like... But again, this is where I mean like the reactionaryism of like these self-styled like progressive celebrities where it's like,
it's like what's new, honestly.
It's like you have progressive values, but those progressive values are not pointed at progress because like you can't actually shake up the system without like your social status also being in jeopardy. So it's like stay safe, vote, like she's classically doing the like just vote sloganeering of that time period, which
that was really the worst, honestly. It's coming back soon.
Oh my, I can't even.
I know 2024 like put me under the entire year, wake me up and it ends. Like
can we go into like the Futurama cryo chamber and just like wake up, like
set me to 1,000 years, honestly. Let's speed this shit up.
When the dolphins have like grown legs and crawled about the ocean to inhabit the earth. Okay,
oh my God.
Then later that week, she alongside Ariana Grande is the person we are talking about. She alongside celebrities like Rihanna signed an open letter urging New York police reform. And then later that month on the 24th sends food trucks to voters who were waiting in line at the Kentucky polls. This was something that was happening infrequently during this year, but it was not like she was not the first person to do this by any means. For those of you who don't remember, especially with the pandemic, there was a lot of, I think, justifiable fears about what was going to happen at the polls, especially in states that had been overtaken by like QAnon anti-maskers, Republicans, and, you know, right-wing militants that were like shutting down polls and threatening people over the elections. And so, you know, a lot of it was like the messaging at that point was like, stay in line, don't get out of line. So she, throughout the rest of the year, basically sends like food trucks and coffee and beverages and refreshments and water to like people who were voting. One of the people, let's see here, the Latino food truck in Kentucky posted on Instagram, quote, when Ariana Grande calls you in the fourth quarter, you get up early and get the job done. So proud to know you, Ariana Grande, in your heart. Everyone in Kentucky, don't give up and vote. It's your right. Bravo, Ari. And then, you know, she also sent them coffee from Blackbeard Espresso in the neighborhood at the Kentucky Exposition Center in Louisville. Then a few things happen later that year. In August, she performs at the VMAs in that now iconic performance of her and Lady Gaga in face masks, which I think is like one of the defining images of celebrities in 2020 is like the people who are performing in face masks at award shows that were being filmed remotely and in their backyards. She also gets a shout out from her mom in October, who is, quote, so proud after she sends hundreds of pizza to voters in Florida, who, again, she was being, you know, urging them to stay in line no matter what. Then later that month, when Positions drops, fans think she, quote, throws shade at Pete Davidson in the song itself. And I'm going to get this directly from Insider, so take this for what you will.
Right.
While her delivery might have been a purely stylistic choice, fans on social media were quick to point out that by separating the syllables of repeat, Grande emphasizes the Pete part of the word. She seemingly makes a reference to Davidson's first name.
You know what? Powder recognition might have been a mistake. I'm sorry. That's insane. That's crazy.
I'm mad.
This is, oh my God, I don't know. I don't know.
Because the line is, heaven sent you to me. I'm just hoping that I don't repeat history. And she's like, and it's like,
repeat
history. I don't want to repeat history.
Is that even really
like,
shade?
Is in the history, you know?
Like if you
broke up
an engagement, like of course you wouldn't want to repeat. That's not even that. It's not even really shady.
No. It's just, again, it's like.
Yeah, Twitter brain. Stan brain.
So then we're actually going to be talking about this next week in our bonus episode about the documentary. But like we talked about in the Diva Moments episode concerning her quote unquote not real feud with Mariah Carey, Mariah Carey has her in the new Oh Santa video for her Apple TV special, which, by the way, I got live texts from because somebody who I know very intimately in my life at the time filmed that special
and
was just
that special,
giving me like all the information about the entire experience and what it was like working with Mariah Carey.
Apple TV productions
I'll take
also.
to my vault. So
yeah.
Then in that same day, it comes out that Ariana Grande, this is December 1st, she opens a pet rescue, speaking of pet rescues in LA, which for all intents and purposes seems to still be open.
I was going to say, like, where is that gone?
Like, it looks like it's still
REM dogs? Like, what is it?
No, it's called Orange Twins Rescue. Matt, can you look at this?
What does it even mean? Okay, yeah, we're on it.
It's
the Instagram page is gone for it.
It's gone, but it's not forgotten. And it's still there. It's just they changed the name of it. It's Orange Twin Rescue. Orange Twins Rescue.
501c.
Has 100K followers. Like, it seems pretty legit. Their most
their website
recent,
is so obnoxious.
No, Matt, their website is heinous.
They have 3 dogs for adoption.
Yeah, they have 3 dogs. They just posted as of...
I'm sorry, this cannot be going anymore. One of the dogs they have here, one of the 3 dogs they have, says age 3 to 5 years as of December 1st, 2020.
Yeah, as of May 15th, though, they are posting and allegedly, I'm seeing Adele here.
Oops.
Yeah, I think Adele, maybe
I said
Adele.
don't trust the dog rescues.
Does Adele
I'm
adopt a
still on
dog
it.
from them? No. Oh, no. This is just a meme with Adele. Okay. So I was like, that would have been crazy if Adele adopted a dog from Ariana Grande. But yeah. So again, I couldn't find anything about if it had closed or not, but they adopt some
Yeah, they're
animals,
still posting.
allegedly.
Some people are posting like, oh, I can't tell if it's just Stan accounts, honestly.
Yeah.
they're just
No, I
Stan
know.
accounts.
Isn't that always the worst? It's like, is
Yeah,
this
y'all
a Stan
ruin
account
stuff.
or is this real? Okay, so then on the 20th of December 2020, Ariana Grande basically announces that she's engaged. On Instagram, she shows off her new engagement ring with the caption "Forever and Then Some." A source tells People at the time, quote, "They couldn't be happier. They're just so excited. This is a happy time for both of them. Both sets of parents are thrilled." And then Scooter Braun comments on Instagram, quote, "Congrats to these two amazing souls. Ari, we love you and could not be happier for you. Dalton, you are a lucky man." And then the other polled celebrity caption on this is, "Yay! So happy for you guys." Who do you think says that?
Oh no, Frankie Grande.
Haley Baldwin.
Oh.
So
yeah, that makes sense. That makes even more sense.
The next day after the announcement breaks, which is interesting, the New York Times reviews her new documentary, Excuse Me, I Love You. And I just wanted to read this like 2 poll paragraphs because I think it really like sums up, you know, like the kind of critical reckoning with Grande. Not necessarily like the cultural reckoning, but like with some critics, quote, "Grande serves charming, relatable political realness, dramatizing a fainting fall when she hears the news that the House voted to impeach President Trump. And when Grande learns that Carrie, her idol, has asked her to record a solo clip of All I Want for Christmas Is You along with other artists, she gets misty-eyed. These light touches mixed in with bops like Thank You Next and Seven Rings lend, if only slightly, an endearing multidimensional human shape to the performer seen strutting the catwalk in thigh-high boots before thousands of adoring fans. Only 2020 could make a straightforward, paint-by-numbers concert doc like this, one which is clearly intended for superfans, seem this nourishing, even for non-Arianators like myself. Even the most casual fans might find themselves simply saying thank you." And again, it's like interesting to just kind of read a more like critical take on Ariana as like, again, like strutting the catwalk in thigh-high boots. You know, it's like
I'm tired. Like I'm so tired.
I'm so tired. But again, it's a positive thing. So we'll leave it there. Then in the 28th of December, she had a busy December. People reports, quote, "Dalton and Ariana, quote, got to know each other in peace during quarantines," as a source. Quote, "It was tricky for them getting to see each other, so she decided to take her chance," adds the insider. "She purchased a house in the Hollywood Hills in June and never looked back. They are incredibly happy. Dalton is a great guy. He's very focused on work and low key. He likes to keep his relationship with Ari private. They have been able to get to know each other in peace. Ari's family is very happy. Everybody loves Dalton. He's great for Ari. This phase of her life has been very quiet and uneventful in a good way. They are very happy that she is marrying Dalton." And it's like, and you can kind of see, not that Dalton needs like us to defend him for anything, nor does he need us to like officially critically re-examine his divorce. And this series is not about Dalton Gomez whatsoever. It includes him. But I will say it's interesting, and I can't imagine... Actually, no. You know what? No. Actually, I can completely imagine what it is like to be in a position where the family of the person you are marrying is saying, quote, "You are so good for this person."
I was going to say, you definitely can relate.
You have such a good effect on them. You really help them turn things around. I just want to say, if you ever find yourself in that position,
girl,
I would just have a divorce attorney on file. Like just
couples therapy, maybe.
No,
it's not even worth it.
I don't think couples therapy is not for this.
Just speed run it. Just go right to divorce.
Know that eventually
have the bank account ready.
You might need a divorce lawyer and some money to just get up and go with. So just a general PSA to everybody.
Well, I mean, this ends up being true for them anyway. So.
Yeah. So then in 2021, we're going to jump ahead a little bit. So 2021 starts off kind of slow, but in March, Reuters.
It depends who you ask.
It depends who you
Red
ask.
Rooster.
I need Red Robin, actually.
Red Robin, honey.
For Red Robin.
Oh my God. Actually, it's been a while.
So Reuters.
Watch everyone be like, you're all wrong completely.
Rangers, announces that Ariana Grande has settled the lawsuit with rapper Dot. Josh Stone reveals that he settled with Grande and 13 other defendants, including her publishers and several songwriters, in a Tuesday filing in federal court in Manhattan. Obviously, the terms were not disclosed, and the judge proceeding over the case ordered a dismissal following the settlement, which is standard. Also, lawyers did not respond to requests for comment.
So they paid or agreed to something as a settlement, basically.
I would imagine for this, if the agreement was not made public and there wasn't a stink about it after, I'm assuming that Stone got cut into the royalties and a lump sum.
Mm-hmm.
That's like just based on like my reporterly instinct and experience with these kinds of things.
It wouldn't be shocking.
Yeah, like I'm assuming there was a lump sum and or they cut him into the streaming, whatever, what have you, residuals. Interestingly enough, if you look at all of this, the thing that everyone leads with is Ariana Grande settles lawsuit claiming she stole 7 rings. And this is what we were talking about last week when it came down to the creation of 7 rings, as well as just the album itself. Thank You Next. That like one thing that I think pop stars have really struggled to adapt to this in the age of social media, that no matter what you do, no matter who you work with, no matter your involvement on anything as it pertains to you, you are always going to be the story first. Like nobody cares
That's just how it is,
that
like,
it was
unfortunately.
Tommy Brown that was at the meeting with Josh Stone. Nobody cares that it was Universal Music Group that held a meeting with this man in which he played this exact song for them. Nobody cares that there was like other co-writers on it. Nobody cares about any of that. They are not part of the narrative. It is Ariana Grande herself that was being sued. It was Ariana Grande in all the headlines that is, paying the settlement. It's Ariana Grande that's being accused of stealing the song in the first place, right? And I think that that's another thing, and I think you probably agree with me here, that is interesting about this series and like looking back at all of these different points in Ariana Grande's life, is also realizing that, again, with this cultural memory about Ariana Grande, so much of that is also based on the idea that Ariana Grande has been the sole individual in her life and career over the last 10 years. That like she has made all of these decisions autonomously, that nobody has collaborated with her, that she doesn't have co-writers, that she doesn't have like people that she frequently works with or individuals that she's like done one-offs with or that she's influenced by or any of that.
It's just like not how it works. It's just not how it works. I was just watching the other day because after Renaissance, obviously I was like in a Bay mood and I was rewatching Lemonade film, which, oh my gosh. Anyway, so great. But just the credits on every single song, it's like literally paragraphs of names and people. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's just like, again, when you get to this level of pop stardom, like you do have teams of people working on stuff because they want to be perfect and you want to have everything you possibly can. And it is on that team of people if they are going to infringe on something. It's not really the artist at that point because they're doing everything else to just make it work, like execute the work itself.
And I think it's also the danger in being a pop star like Ariana Grande is it can be really easy to just be like, we're all friends. And you kind of see this a little bit with what's happening to Lizzo. We're not getting into that. What I'm saying purely is that when you are a person who like thinks you're fun and chill and cool and you come up quickly and or you come up young, it is very, very hard, I think, if you do not lay the groundwork immediately to set firm boundaries with people about what is and is not acceptable, and also be overseeing every single moving part of this empire of Ariana Grande, right? Like, it is probably very hard to, like, on a day-to-day basis, know what everyone is up to, who is being in charge of what, who you're answering to that day, all of the different things that are going on, especially in, like, the midst of an album cycle. But, like, I think you can see a lot of these pop stars start making mistakes when it's like, oh, this is my friend and we collaborate all the time, right? Like, those are often the people that are going to fuck up and fuck you over the most, because that fuck up becomes your problem immediately, no matter what, right?
And they can just dip. They can just dip and not.
Ariana Grande could not have had a single writing credit on Seven Rings, and the story would still be that she stole the song. 100%. That is simply how the media is set up to operate, right? Because nobody would click on Seven Rings songwriter Tommy Brown accused of stealing Seven Rings as hook, right? Nobody would click on that. It's Ariana Grande that they are coming to that story for. It's Ariana Grande driving this story forward and making people money on ad sales.
This is why I always feel like, and especially felt this way after going to Renaissance, where I was just like, the amount of like trust you have to have in your team is so staggering to be at this level. You really never know when any minute someone could like completely destroy your career. I'm not like this thing just even remotely hurt her career, because no one really cared that much about it. But
I mean, people
that is like
cared,
what's
but
potential.
Again, she was rich enough at this point for it to just, you have like pay to make it go away money.
Exactly.
And also, I think it's like on a smaller scale, why sometimes even Matt and I have such a hard time collaborating with people like consistently on this podcast. Like, just like the idea of like bringing in editors and other producers and people to help like do research and stuff. Like, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to do that. And when I hear these podcasts that are written by like 6 people, like I get people are making
where they just
TV
come in and like
stuff,
read a script basically.
But I don't think we'd ever be able to do that on this podcast, because we are too much control freaks.
They would have to be like, I mean, like
you would have to be the illithid tadpole from Dungeons and Dragons.
Like into my brain,
we would all need to become mind flayers for it.
No, I was going to say,
because need to be able to perfectly mind meld telekinesis, like
because like you and I are like such close friends. We say this all the time. We're like friends first before we're even podcasters. And like, that's the reason why we can trust each other to do the edits and do this work. And then same with Ashlyn, like she's someone that we've known for a very long time that we can trust. And it's like so hard to extend it to like anyone new coming in. Like, I don't even know how someone like Ariana Grande could meet someone new and be like, yeah, I trust you, like make this happen. Like, how can you really trust somebody like that? You have no idea.
Yeah, I have no idea. No, I think about that though, right? Like I think about it and I'm like, and I am naturally like an anxious person about stuff like that, about control and like needing to know everything is happening a very specific way. You know this, you know how to deal with me.
Oh, yes.
And cue somebody being like, you cut off Matthew before he could agree with you on that.
Oh my God. So many people. Okay. First of all, I'm going to say this too, especially for last week's episode, because someone said last week's was like more egregious, I guess, or something than before. One thing is, if I have something to say, I'll say it. Let me tell you that. Second of all, last week there was someone installing a new fence outside our apartment that was so loud and crazy. I was on mute until I needed to speak and turn the mic on. And even then, I still couldn't speak because it was so egregiously loud. So
I was talking to other podcasters, by the way, because, we are a part of big podcasts, and I'll keep their anonymity because, etc.
Don't let big podcasts know.
Don't let big podcasts know that I'm talking about the secrets of the big podcast group chat. No, I was talking to other podcaster friends of ours who are also like boy girl duos, like straight
girl and gay duo,
straight girl and gay guy, like girl who slays gay guy duos. And they all were like, oh yeah, like the fans always think the girls are bullying the gays. And it's like,
or that like one's like entrapped from the other, or like they're fighting secretly
on this podcast.
Oh, it's so funny how people will think we're actually fighting sometimes. And I'm like, where do you even pick that up? It's crazy to me.
Again, like last week,
we're just mean to each other.
Like
that's all it is.
Cut off, and or like you were like not being able to speak because you were literally on mute and having to unmute yourself in the middle of a sentence.
Exactly. Okay. Meanwhile, there's like a drone hitting my house like from the side.
And Matt had said, like, can you just talk for most of this, because like there is a sound outside my house that sounds like aliens are dying like outside my window. So okay, Then in April, okay, so first before we get to April, at the end of March, Ariana joins The Voice. And this is really interesting too, because The Voice actually kind of becomes the only way the public sees Ariana for basically all of 2021.
Why does it feel like that happened like 5 years ago also? I cannot believe it was 2021. That doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, continue.
Joining The Voice is really the only way that people are like able to access Ariana. And if you come with me actually to Getty.com, Matthew, Getty Images.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's go.
Let's go to Getty Images. And this is something that I was kind of shaken by when I first started putting this series together. So if you look up Ariana Grande in editorial images, that's key here, not creative. And then you sort it by newest. So the first that you're going to see is you see her at Wimbledon in July is like some of the photos. So you scroll past Wimbledon.
Yeah, these photos were hilarious.
And it's a whole lot of nothing. There's like the next thing that you see here are photos from a Manchester inquiry at the tour. Yeah. You are seeing a bunch of stuff about the princess, etc. So like really what happens here, and if I also say that if you can sort it by specific people, like Ariana Grande for the last 3 years has like all but disappeared off of social media. Like if you were on her social media page about like 30 seasons back, 30 images deep, the last time that she is seen is March 26th, 2023, apart from Wimbledon. And then directly before March 23rd, 2023, the next most recent image is December 14th, 2021. So like basically for the entirety of the next 2 years, really, Ariana Grande disappears from the public eye. She can be seen on The Voice. She will promote The Voice on the Jimmy Fallon show and the Kelly Clarkson show. But like on page 2 of her photos in Getty Images, that first photo is from December 6th, 2021. And then you scroll down to Kelly and it's like all just these like really random appearances, September 2nd, 2021. She's not walking on red carpets. She's not going to award shows. She's not performing live except on The Voice. And it's a really interesting time in her career where it's like, then you go to the third page and one of the first photos is with Lady Gaga at the VMAs that we just talked about, August 26, 2020.
That's really
that's what I'm saying is really interesting about this period in Ariana Grande's life is like when they say that she quarantines and chills with Dalton and all but disappears from the public eye. I think it has in many ways hindered her now because she has not been publicly available to people. So this narrative that has sprung up about her divorce has been really easy to project on her because she is absent from her career at the moment. Like, I'm not saying she's not making moves. There's a lot of stuff happening on her social media. She's done REM Beauty, which we will get to, et cetera, et cetera. She's in Wicked. She's been Pap doing Wicked, but like, yeah,
the Yours Truly 10th anniversary edition she just released.
Her entire public interface is through The Voice, through this like very controlled contractual obligation that she will appear on your TV once or twice a week and then promote it. But she's not like working like other artists are during that time. She really takes these next 3 years to completely hunker down, right? And just isolate and focus on herself. And it probably is to her actual benefit in the moment, but I think it comes back to bite her later on. So in April 2nd, 2021, we report that at Billboard that Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande, J Balvin, and a bunch of others reap millions in the Hype deal to buy Ithaca Holdings. We actually talked about this in our Scooter Braun intermission, but just to reference this one more time, Hybe was bought Ithaca Holdings for $1.05 billion, And a lot of his scooters clients reap various shares in this deal. So a total of 39 people, including Braun and then Big Machine Label Group CEO Scott Borchetta, receive shares totaling $161 million. Braun gets $86.2 million. Borchetta receives $31.1 million. Grande and Bieber each receive $11 million apiece in shares. J Balvin gets 4.1, Lovato gets 1.06. And I think a lot of this is about how long they had been with Ithaca Holdings, really.
Oh yeah, and those contracts are all about equity.
And I'm
too,
sure those.
So I'm sure for Justin
Bieber and Ariana Grande are the people who paid for those offices. So like, yeah.
I was going to say, like, they're making
May 3rd,
that money.
a month later, Ariana Grande then posts about mental health on Instagram for Mental Health Awareness Month. Quote, "Here's to ending the stigma around mental health and normalizing asking for help. Healing isn't linear, fun, quick, or at all easy, but we are here and we've got to commit to making this time as healthy, peaceful, and beautiful as possible. The work is so hard, but we are capable and worth it. Sending so much love and strength." She then said that to destigmatize mental health, she was going to make a post a month through May. Those don't exist anymore. And then also she posts resources for mental health, substance abuse, and then also things like postpartum support, veterans crisis lines, the Trevor Project, Black Mental Health Alliance, etc., and so on. And this is also something I want to say here too. What I find interesting and something that we've been kind of bubbling under the surface with Ariana Grande is her kind of pivot into like mental wellness, self-care, which has always been part of her brand, to be clear, but becomes really apparent in the post 2019 era, especially in the pandemic, where it's like, you know, take care of yourself, check in on yourself, like do the healing, do the work. Like I'm just like, you know, healing from my own stuff. Like that language, I think, is one that her fan base has already been inundated with on social media, right? Like the like clean girly aesthetics come about later the fact. Like you can just start to see like coquette girls, like all of this stuff really takes a hold and is like deeply rooted in really fucked up ideas. But it's interesting to watch Ariana Grande kind of delve into that persona and how it mirrors the way her fandom often employs a language of victimhood and like non-accountability, that like, you know, I'm not responsible for my actions, et cetera, you know, I'm healing, you know, cut out toxic people, like, you know, that kind of stuff, that kind of like very sloganeering social media language. Like I think that I think that
very like
Etsy
store
like
adjacent, honestly.
to Ariana's brand, even if she doesn't necessarily, I think she does believe it, if I'm being honest, but like she couldn't not necessarily believe it. And I think her fans are still kind of undergirded by that like idea anyways. Like it's just interesting to watch because like, again, I think an Arianator is like very likely to tweet like, cut out all the toxic people, like black emoji, like black heart emoji, you know, like I just think that that's like something you'll see. So whenever she talks about mental health, I'm always like you are the goop of self-care posting, you know? So May also sees Dalton Gomez get press about designing Ariana Grande's diamond wedding band. And that month also they marry in a tiny intimate wedding ceremony in Montecito, actually at Ellen DeGeneres' former home, by the way, which is something I reported on in Jezebel. That was actually something that I was like, huh. No, the home itself.
About the wedding or the home itself? Like,
Ariana Grande, like basically like sold the home, I think, to Ariana Grande in Montecito. It was $6.7 million English Tudor style home in Montecito. And someone was like, hey, did you, like, they sent me a tip email. They were like, hey, did you see Ellen sold her home to Ariana Grande? And I was like, excuse me? Because obviously, for those of you who have read my work for a while, you would know my relationship to Ellen DeGeneres that year. So, oh, here, I'll send it to you right now. I have the House and Home link up right now. Here you go.
Oh, we love House and Home. Oh, wait. Oh, this expensive.
Yeah, it's a beautiful.
Oh, yeah,
like, I won't lie. This. It makes me Matt, it makes me sick.
Owned it before
how beautiful
Ellen.
it is. Can you imagine?
No, I love the English Versailles. I cannot lie.
On
Like
the
wood
fourth,
is like
on the fourth anniversary,
the kitchen was well done too.
Manchester, Ariana posts about the victims on Instagram stories. Says, "Quote: Although grief is ever present and our relationship to it is constantly evolving and expressing itself in different ways every day, year round, I know that this anniversary will never be an easy one. Please know that I'm thinking of you today. Manchester, my heart is with you today and always." And actually, a month later, horrifyingly, just to kind of pivot away from Ariana for a second, Pitchfork reports that the public inquiry into Manchester arena bombing during the Ariana Grande concert reveals like various security lapses and errors on the venue's part that led to the attack basically being possible. And this is dark. And I have some stuff to say about this, but let me just get through the Pitchfork report, everybody, because you all are probably going to think the exact same things I thought here. So just let us get through this first. The report states that the quote-unquote suicide bomber should have been identified as a potential threat the night of the concert, pointing to at least 3 instances of hostile reconnaissance, and I'm pronouncing that wrong, reconnaissance, that security did not detect. There existed the opportunity for SMG to make hostile reconnaissance more difficult during events by pushing out the security perimeter of the security operation, the document states. This could have been a missed opportunity, depending on how the new security perimeter operated. The report also points out that on the night of the attack, the UK's terror threat level was severe. The inquiry notes moments where security guards were unable to communicate with the security control room after a member of the public voiced concerns. Elsewhere, the inquiry points to, quote, SMG's inadequate CCTV system with regards to a particular blind spot. Had the blind spot been eliminated either by increased CCTV or by patrols, the activity would have been identified, the report states. There is also scrutiny of overly long breaks that were being taken by on-duty officers. Now, this has a couple things happening here. Let me get through this.
I'm confused.
The bulk of the report is stating that there were moments where SMG, the company in charge of the venue, could have instituted a see something, say something policy, and that the chain of command for a see something, say something style policy had broken down the night of the concert. That allegedly a member of the public had voiced concerns to security about the person who ended up committing the terrorist act, and that concern had basically gone unfollowed up on by security at the venue. They also say that
I see.
Allegedly,
so they were tipped off about the person
this report.
Basically.
Also, they are saying that the security perimeter around the venue was weakened, and that if they had bolstered the security perimeter through CCTV and patrols, that they would have been able to stop this before it occurred. They also said that because there were large gaps in the CCTV system, it was very easy for the person to get in and commit this act undetected by the cameras. And that allegedly they had been, not allegedly because there's video footage of it, basically been patrolling the arena, scouting for entrances and exits and ways to carry through with this terrorist act in the days and week leading up to the actual bombing itself. And that should have been caught by the venue and by officers, but had basically gone undetected because of these huge gaps in their security at the venue. Yeah. And what I want to say here is a lot of this report, if you read it, is relying on the language of we saw someone who shouldn't look like they should be at a concert and we should have arrested them. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're I think that is the first reaction I had to reading this, and definitely the one that persists is it's the UK is a violently xenophobic country, and hyper-surveillance and I think across Europe, especially post Manchester and preceding Manchester too, There is extreme Islamophobia and xenophobia that just like runs rampant throughout the continent, and especially in places like Britain. But also like a takeaway from this is that like it was really sad also reading the report. I read all of the report, by the way, just because I wanted to kind of have a fuller opinion about it. Is just like grappling with how many people died and the like lifetime effects that it has had on people, you know, and like remembering what Ariana said about like, no matter what I feel about it, like no matter what we did, it's never going to bring any of those people that died back over this like senseless act of violence.
Yep.
It's that like so often we in our everyday lives rely on these like institutions or these like expectations or organizations and etc. that are put in place to protect us. And I think a lot of us know that those institutions are a lie, that those things are a theater. But
it's all theater.
Yeah. What this report really illuminates is just that like so often these things that the public is asked to just place its undying trust in are failing you, right? Those police officers that get paid more than God were on break, taking overly long breaks, according to the report, like not doing their jobs the night of this happening, right?
If they especially got a tip about that person or that something,
no, but that's what I'm saying, where it's like you, so many people in our lives just go about expecting that everything's going to work out and that like all of these people are going to do their jobs and that everything's going to keep running. And it's like so often, not only are those things not something that actually exists, but those people are probably going to fail you and we have to rely on each other. And then also deal with it too, also often when things do occur, right? Like take matters into your own hands and like, you know, uplift each other and look out for each other. And I think it's just an interesting contrast, especially thinking about summer 2020 and the uprisings. Like I'm not comparing what happened in Manchester to the uprisings, but more so like my takeaway from the report of just like, yeah, we only have each other so often, right? Like, you really cannot rely on the state to protect you.
It literally is all we have.
But yeah, I just wanted to highlight that because it is something that came out during 2021 and it kind of flew under the radar here, right? Because again, like Manchester happened overseas and I think Americans had a lot going on here at home too.
And unfortunately, Americans have a lot of at home terrorist like attacks.
Like I think it makes sense that this kind of flew under the radar, but I wanted to highlight it because it is something I think that is integral to Ariana Grande's story. So this next story, and we're almost close to the end here. Jessie J enters the chat in July.
Where has she been the last
formulating
few years?
her apologies to Ariana Grande is where she's been. So in an interview, Jessie says, quote, Max Martin wrote Bang Bang and Ariana had been played it. I'd been played it and we both loved it. We just said, why don't we both do it? So Ariana stayed on the second verse. I recorded the first verse. And then Nicki was played it in the studio and was like, I've got to jump on this. We didn't go to her and ask. She wanted to do it. I'll never forget. I was in my bedroom in my flat in London and I got sent the version with Nicki on it. I just sat at the end of my bed holding my phone, staring at the floor going, how the fuck did I land this? I literally felt like I'd won a competition. So Nicki enters the conversation on social media and responds to Jessie and says, babe, I didn't hear the song and asked to get on it. The label asked me to get on it and paid me. How would I have heard the song? What am I, the damn song monitor? Snooping around for songs? This was said by another artist recently as well. Y'all gotta stop. Love you. Jessie then responds.
She really said love and light, but no.
I respect you publicly being yourself, Nicki. So here I am being myself. She then says that, there's this like weird energy between her and Nicki and quote, if we can't laugh in the lives we have been blessed with, what's the point? It isn't really that deep. She also apologizes to Ariana because famously Ariana Grande was not played Bang Bang. Ariana Grande co-wrote Bang Bang with Max Martin. She co-wrote the song, which Jesse seemed to forgot. And then also, she says, Ariana, from the moment I met you to now, I've shown you nothing but love and gratitude for how fucking blessed I was to have you and Ariana Grande, who, by the way, wrote Bang Bang with the insanely talented Max Martin, which I found out today. Jesus, what a day. Sorry, Ari. I never knew. Wild. I felt like I had won a competition, and I did back then and still do now. I'm the first person to admit Bang Bang would never have been what it was without you guys. I'm sorry, I got the story.
Oh, yeah. I don't think you're the first to admit
the story wrong all these years. I was told you heard the song and wanted to be on it by someone clearly gassing me up at the label. Bless them and my naive ass. Thank you for clarifying. I was wrong on that. And do it like dude told me, huh? Look, the song did its damn thing. I will never say you asked to be on the song ever.
Keeps going.
Although all this drama means memes, and man, have the memes kept me like entertained all day. Swipe for a good laugh. Anyways, love and light from me, babes.
She really did the love and light. Oh my God. Me at work when I like get called out for making a mistake. I'm like, well, someone must have told me something else. That's crazy.
And then made up that Ariana Grande had never been on the song, and also somehow didn't know that her number one single was written by Ariana Grande either.
It's like you're either ignorant or you're dumb. Like I don't like you're lying or you're ignorant. I don't
like honestly, one of the more iconic things that she's ever done. She's like, by the way, all these memes you guys have made about me have sustained me, have nourished my soul. Swipe for a good laugh. Always love and light. Like
no, she's truly me at work when I like actively did not pay attention during a meeting, and then someone asked why I haven't done the thing I was told to do in the meeting, and I'm like, well, I swear I heard otherwise. That's so crazy. Like, I'll make sure never to do that again.
Of love and light, I also was high with my roommate last night, and when I went to bed, before I went to bed, I watched the entirety of this next bit that we're about to talk about, which is her Fortnite tour, Ariana Grande's Fortnite tour. That was a years in the making moment. Do you remember this when she toured in Fortnite? I
completely forgot. No,
we talked about this on the podcast.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I don't remember it.
Like literally did a tour in Fortnite, and it's actually, I will say, remember where she's like,
oh wait, I'm remembering the videos now. I'm trying to remember the videos.
Yeah, like a giant crystalline hammer, and she's like emerging from the ground like with the hammer, and then all the avatars turn into versions of Ariana Grande, and they're like flying around the like giant Ariana Grande obelisk that's like emerging from the ground. No,
it's actually
I watched it
iconic.
and I was like,
oh yeah, now I'm looking at screenshots. I completely forgot about those.
The next thing is not cool, which is like
at least it wasn't Roblox.
Transition that is going to go down in the Eating for Free history books when I read this next headline. So in October, NBC News reports that Ariana also won that month a 5-year restraining order against a man who had been accused of threatening to kill her. The LA Superior Court approved a protection order through 2026 for Grande against a man, Aaron Zebulon Brown, who had been basically showing up to her home for months with knives and various weapons and saying that he was going to kill her and making threatening statements. He had been detained by the police after, the cops had been called. And upon, quote, this is from the LAPD, upon conducting a pat-down search of Mr. Brown, LAPD officers recovered a knife from his front pant pocket. And that protection order, like I said, extends through 2026. That month also, she releases REM Beauty, or at least begins the promotional cycle for it. She gets a cover in Allure about it. And there's just this one paragraph that I want to focus on here, because most of the article is about like the beauty of REM Beauty and like the products and the like, formulations of it. And like, there's this like funny moment where Ariana's like, what did you think about the lip gloss, the tingly lip glosses? And the interviewer was like, yeah, they weren't like super tingly. Like it was kind of disappointing. And Ariana Grande literally goes, I think they gave you the wrong ones because there was like scientifically no way we could have made them any tinglier. And the like interview, no.
She was like, no, we are that person buying the glitter in bulk.
Like express deliver a like single lip gloss to the person's house the next day, and they were like, upon applying it, yes, she was in fact correct. I had been delivered the wrong lip liner the first time or whatever. And I think that was a funny anecdote that I was kind of like, I mean, I can only imagine. They were like, I like to imagine, because it was literally like their doorbell went like bzz, and then when they went down there, like there was nobody there, and they're like, I like to imagine it was Ariana Grande that like hand delivered my like lip gloss for me at like 9 a.m. or whatever. But this one paragraph I think is really interesting. So lately, she's been taking a break from recording to explore what she calls new versions of storytelling. She's working with an acting coach who trains leading ladies and seems to do their job extremely well. Grande has a role in Netflix's upcoming movie Don't Look Up, which I completely forgot she was in Don't Look Up. And she was pretty good in that too. She's set to be a judge.
She was? Who did she play in that movie?
She's set to be a judge on The Voice, where she will serve as a soprano shepherd to tomorrow's pop voices. She's recently also performed a live concert in the digital realm of the online game Fortnite. She's also creating makeup products. I was the first civilian allowed to test them after Grande, her mother, her dancers, 15 of her closest friends, quote, they've been to the lab more than I've been anywhere, she says. 2 of her closest friends who are also fans, the wonderful teams at Forma Brands, and my boss, Jenny. And yeah, again, I think what this really highlights is that like 2021 was a year of like not being a pop star, right? It was a year of, I'm just Ariana Grande. I'm a CEO. I'm a CEO. If you will. I'm acting.
Exactly. We're girl bossing. We're
she's like opening up her life a little bit in a way that she hadn't really been able to.
It's power moves.
Young 20s is like this like suddenly extremely famous multi-platinum immediately artist. In the same month, she gives away $5 million in free therapy for World Mental Health Day. She partners up with BetterHelp.
Through like
help.
Oh no!
I acknowledge.
Thank God they're finally getting their reckoning right now. By the way,
accessing mental health resources, and while this is only one small gesture and a much larger systemic problem remains, I wanted to do this again with BetterHelp in hopes of bringing access to a few people and inspiring more than a few of you to try something new and prioritize your own healing, she said. And again, it follows a $1 million donation in free therapy to BetterHelp earlier that year, when she first, talked about like, mental health is so important. And then we're going to end with an Instagram post from November 21st, when Cynthia Erivo posts on Instagram that she is going to be starring alongside John Chu and Ariana Grande in the Wicked musical.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Pink goes good with green. At Wicked Movie, at John M. Chu, at Ariana Grande.
Little did we know how terrible things would soon become. Also, like, how are we so good at getting like an hour and 45 every single part? Like, it's kind of scary. It's kind of frightening.
Wait, is that? Oh, yeah, they haven't really posted anything since the Wicked movie.
Who?
Their last post was June 20th.
Oh, they can't, right?
No. What I'm just saying is it's interesting that like their last post. Oh, no, sorry. Their last post was June 20th, 2023. So. I was just wondering if maybe they would post like anything else, but no. The last time we actually really saw them post was that photo of Ariana Grande in like negative contrast. That I actually remember I wrote about for Paper Magazine, where everyone was like, the one where it's so dark, and I was like, it's fucking camera raw. We had a huge.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. We had a long talk about
that pod. We're gonna
sounds like you bitches don't know how coloring works.
End of 2021. This was kind of a slower episode, but I thought I had enough moments that I wanted to touch on for it to kind of be its own part. But yeah, I think if you can tell from anything in this episode, the last few eras in her career had been so focused. And then it was interesting doing this one and finding a through line in it, because it was like this image of her that she had been, you know, steadily progressing with and kind of like reinventing every new era kind of went out the window. And it was like, I'm not a pop star anymore. I'm Ariana Grande. I'm getting married to my normie boyfriend and we live in Montecito, and I'm going to have a makeup company. And the only times you're going to see me are on your TVs doing vocal coaching or in my Polaroids of me laying on the floor with my ex-husband now. And that's it. That's all you get from me. Right.
It kind of was like her dark era. Yeah. Like she really was like, I'm going to go quiet, like and start cooking at home.
And what
like
she cooks up. honestly, couldn't have cooked it up better myself. So, thank you all once again for listening to Eating for Free. And we love you all. Once again, next week, we have the final part in this series for now. And we have a bonus episode premiering where we are going to watch and discuss her documentary on Netflix. So tune in for both of those things. And then for the rest of September, we are going to have a few episodes lined up, one-offs. We have an episode about Britney Spears' divorce and some really, really dark shit that has been coming out of it, including a report that he was bringing information to her conservators behind her back. By the way, immediately texted Bible Girl and was like, girl, did you see the news? And then also we have just maybe like one or two hot topics in the wings because we haven't done those in almost 2 months now. So we're going to take a slower pace over the next month of one-off episodes, God willing. And then we need a small break.
Like we're going to need a break after Ariana.
And then like towards the end of October, kind of insane, we are going to have more to announce about the new Miley Cyrus series that we're planning. So stay tuned for that and continue to leave us those reviews on your podcast app of choice. We love to see all the new reviews from the last time we asked. You guys are incredible and made me cry last week when Matt sent me some of the reviews that you had left. So I really, really appreciate everything.
Y'all are so amazing, honestly. Like, I mean, like really, it's so nice to know that like exactly what we want to do is happening here. Like that's so maybe because you know sometimes you think you're going to come off away, and some people send these insane messages, and you're like, oh, like is that what we're saying? But that has not happened in a while now. Like I feel like we really
and if you feel a type of way about women bullying gay men, just know that it's my right. I'm allowed. And also fingers crossed for Matt that he has exciting news to share on Monday. We'll let the patrons know first if something happens, and then I'll force you to post a picture of your dog on Twitter. I will Twitter ban our Twitter account if we post a photo of you.
Oh my God, at this point, I'm so afraid. It's crazy. I will say being off Twitter for the last 2 weeks has been harrowing. I am legitimately like in withdrawal, not necessarily the checking Twitter, but like you just have those thoughts and you're like, this is a great text post. And I'm refusing to get on Threads because that seems like the death of it all. And Instagram stories, it's fun for the, you know, the TikToks and whatever, but it's just not the same.
Well, you haven't missed much.
It's really tragic. Well,
you literally
enjoy X, y'all, whatever the fuck that is. Have they removed banning yet?
I go on that app to post photos.
That was really the like.
I also cross post them on Instagram where I'm trying to get a few hot guys to engage with my content.
That's amazing.
And then also, by the way, we have some more exciting stuff to announce in the coming weeks. So definitely stay tuned for that. And we are just really grateful for all of you to stick through it to the end with us. Next week, like we said, is the last one, and it's going to be kind of sad. It's the biggest project we've ever worked on. So
staggering amount of work. Oh my God. We have to count the amount of sources at the end because it's at least 120, 150 maybe.
So it's definitely the most work we've ever done. And I love it. Honestly, I'm happy that we found a new direction to kind of go towards as we end the year.
It's so crazy.
Okay, guys, goodbye. Right? Is it goodbye time? 2,
yeah,
1,
well, 3,
bang,
2,
bang into the
1.
room. I know you want to
bang,
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 bang all over you.
Well, they wanna bang, bang all over you. I know you gotta
touch you. Think I'm in you. Goodbye. You've been listening to Eating for Free, which is written and hosted by myself, Joan Summers, and Matthew Lawson, and produced by Ashlyn Thomas and myself, with music from our friend Pluto. For more information about this episode and our show, go to eatingforfree.com. And if you want weekly bonus episodes, go to patreon.com/eatingforfree, which helps support this show and keep it going. We've also got merch at eatingforfree.com/merch.